give you a second. Alright, I'd like to start off today with having you guys think about some of the amazing things the internet has to offer to us. For example, if you guys were to Google how to fix an oven right now, thousands of search results would pop up on your phone or laptop. In this instance, it's clear to see how the internet can be really useful and helpful. But there are also a lot of negative aspects to the internet. For example, when it comes to cyberbullying or Facebook arguments or getting your credit card hacked or pornography. In fact, America's biggest issue with internet is actually pornographic related. Keep imagining you have a daughter or son around the age of 11, and they finally get a phone that they've been wanting. And with that comes the fact that they now have access to both the amazing and negative parts of the internet. And also the statistic that by the end of the year, they will be exposed to explicit content. In fact, 40% of Americans view unwanted explicit content via pop-ups or ads in their everyday lives, according to Safe Families. In fact, porn has increasingly become more accessible and prominent in our days. With the youth being able to view pornographic content as easily as Googling the word sex, it's clear to see why we need more regulations. You might be asking yourself, what does this have to do with you? Well, it actually has a lot to do with you, since America is the #1 porn viewing country. Porn is a $97 billion industry, with $12 billion of that coming from America alone. In fact, in America, pornographic sites get more viewage than Netflix, Amazon, and eBay combined. And that's why pornography needs more regulations. Today I'm going to talk about 3 main things with you guys. 1, why there needs to be regulations. 2, the prominence and effects of porn in the US. And 3, the consequences on individuals and society. Now that you know what we're going to talk about today, let's start with the first one, why there needs to be regulations. People may say that there don't need to be regulations when it comes to pornography. But similarly to the way we regulate drinking, driving, smoking, owning a gun, porn needs to have similar rules put in place. The first misconception is that the youth don't typically view porn, when in fact that's not true. 40% of preteens view explicit content, according to APA, and the average age that they're exposed is 11. The second misconception is that porn doesn't affect our relationships, when again, according to the APA, it actually leads to an increased view in recreational sex, and it leads to the feeling that it's not necessary to have affection when having sexual relations. The third misconception is that porn doesn't have any long-term effects. But psychology today breaks down for us what happens when we watch pornographic content at a young age. Between the ages 12 and 20, our brain goes through a stage called neuroplasticity. This means that it shapes our brain around the experiences, sights, sounds, and visual things that we see. When we watch porn at a young age, it leads us to seeing sex as isolating, visceral, and void of love. And that's why we need to have regulations. Next is the prominence and effects in porn in the US. The graph to the right shows Pornhub's top 20 viewing countries. Clearly, America is the #1 viewing country for Pornhub. And in fact, 200,000 Americans are classified as porn addicts, and 40 million American people regularly visit porn sites. Pornography is so prominent in America that 35% of all internet downloads are porn related, and that's the prominence and effects of porn in the US. Next, we're going to talk about consequences on individuals and society. There are 7 main ways that pornography is harmful to society. The first is that it harms children. In fact, 20% of all explicit content has child pornography in it, according to Safe Families. The second is that it promotes violence. 40% of sexual abusers have an addiction to watching violent pornography. The third is that it objectifies women. The fourth is that it leads to sex trafficking. The fifth is that it destroys relationships. 56% of divorces claim that one of their partners had a porn problem, and 47% of divorces are actually caused because one of the persons has a porn problem. Number 6 is that it warps expectations, and number 7 is that it leads to impotency. And now you know the consequences on individuals and society. I'd like to take a moment to read to you guys a quote from the Department of Justice. He said, "Never before in the history of telecommunications media in the US has so much indecent and obscene material been so easily accessible by so many minors in so many American households." Now you may be asking, what can we do about that and how can we help stop this? The first main way that we can help is we can campaign and rally for more regulations when it comes to pornography and ask our Congress to put laws in place to help this. The second, easier way that we can take small steps to helping towards this is that we can make sure pornography is being handled maturely in your own household with friends and family. I'd like to thank you guys for your time.